You want to tell me what this is all about?
All right, welcome to episode 1, season 1. Season 1, episode 1.
Are we doing lots of seasons?
We're doing lots of seasons.
We're scheduled for 46.
That's right.
46 seasons.
Pre-scheduled. Of Smells Like 90s Movies. This is the vlog where we review 90s movies. We go back, we watch a movie from the 90s.
Brand new movies, 90s.
And then we decide if they still held up.
Yeah.
That's basically it, right? All right. So,
Good knowledge to have.
the one that we watched for week 1 is Dangerous Minds. This movie came out in 1995. It was a Michelle Pfeiffer vehicle. The budget, $23 million, and it made $84 million, which means smash success.
Wow.
Directed by John N. Smith, stars Michelle Pfeiffer, and it was actually based on a book written by Luann Johnson called My Posse Don't Do Home.
I did not know
that. Hence Michelle Pfeiffer's name in the movie.
Yes, so all the stuff.
Luann Johnson.
Yeah, so we'll get into it.
Nice.
All the stuff about her being a Marine and everything, and
Yeah.
going and teaching in California, all that actually happened. She wrote about it. I didn't know it, but in the credits it says
She had
based on a book.
a strong leather jacket in the movie.
Yeah,
too.
yes. We'll get to that.
Strong.
So it is.
Spoiler alert.
It is rated R, so I wouldn't recommend letting your kids watch it. It is. It's currently streaming on Cinemax, but you can rent it or buy it on any of the online vehicles.
Also, if you're letting your kid watch Cinemax, they're watching R-rated movies already.
Right. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna rate it out of 5.
Okay.
Okay. So that initially will give you an idea of whether we liked it or disliked it, whether it held up, and then we'll get into breaking down the movies. All right, Casey, would you rate Dangerous Minds out of 5?
I gave it 3 teachers smoking in the classrooms.
3 teachers in the class.
That's on my notes.
I love it. Okay, I give it 4.5.
Whoa.
Hey, you
Yes.
love this movie.
Kelsey loved this.
I
That's
did.
awesome.
Emilio leather jackets.
Okay, wait. Pause. Had you seen it previous to?
Well, we're going to go over that.
Keep going.
Okay.
Gonna go over. it.
Mine was also leather jackets.
Oh.
Mine was not
see.
Emilio's leather jackets.
Okay.
It was just leather jackets in
jackets.
general.
Yeah.
I did not like it as much as you did. It was not my first viewing though. I gave it, as in Star Search, I gave it 3.75.
0.75.
Oh.
The very rare.
3 1/4
Yeah.
3 1/4.
leather jackets.
3 3/4. The very rare 0.75.
Yeah.
Yes, leather jackets.
I gave it 3.5 out of 5 Psalm 23:4s, which of course is a famous verse from the Bible that says, "As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." All right, so those are our rankings. Are we going over whether we've seen it before right now?
Yeah, and
Okay.
if you have seen it, your history.
Okay, so what is your experience with Dangerous Minds? This is obviously a 90s movie. It came out right in the middle, 1995. What was your experience with this movie? Previous to watching it now.
Mine, came out in 95.
95.
So I would have been 12, almost 13, maybe. I don't know the month. But I would have been 12. And I went to see this with our grandma. She took Casey and I and our 2 cousins to see this at the theater by Fiesta Mall because she was a big Boys in the Hood fan.
Of course.
And this looked like Boys in the Hood. And so she was like, you know what, guys? I have you on Saturdays, because she had us on Saturdays, all 4 of us, and she took us to probably Village Inn. And
Probably.
then she took us to see Dangerous Minds.
She probably made us pumper gas.
Pumper Gas and Village Inn, and then we went and saw it with Grandma. And I think she loved it, and we also did too.
I was 10.
Oh,
Hard
you were
R.
10?
Hard R 10.
All right,
Okay,
10 years
With
old.
Grandma.
Also, I saw this movie twice in the theaters.
You did?
Once with Grandma, and then I went and saw it once with Nathan and Cindy and Mom. And I remember, because this is a 90s
Our mom's
story.
sitting over here.
This is a 90s story. I had you remember those braided belts where it was
Oh,
cool
yeah.
to let
Yes.
you let the
Oh, yeah.
slack
Oh,
be
you
Had
got
it
it
over.
over.
I had
Shorts.
just gotten one before we saw
my
that
gosh.
movie, and I was trying to
Those
cut
are
the
sick.
tag off of it, cut my finger. It was bleeding all over before the movie.
No.
And I couldn't enjoy it. Couldn't really enjoy the movie because the finger was throbbing the whole time. So that was the second time I saw it on theater.
Kels?
This is my first time seeing it.
Congratulations.
Because I was like only 6 when it came
Kels is a
out.
lot younger.
Yeah.
Far younger than us three.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Really
Yeah, 4.5 out of
inspirational.
5.
Yeah.
It was inspirational.
Yeah, it was.
I was sprinting out of the bedroom.
She's ready to teach children.
Well, I want to say first off, so we have 3 kids, and the oldest girls are 12 and 10, and I would not take them to see this movie or let them watch it now. But I'm also not a grandma, so maybe that's it. I actually don't have a lot of memories of seeing this movie initially. I know I saw it. I know I watched it a couple times. I remember more the soundtrack, which had Michelle Pfeiffer on the cover. I can picture that with her leather jacket, looking super boss, and it had some fantastic tracks on there.
Yeah.
I remember that a lot more. Great soundtrack.
It was such a good soundtrack.
Great soundtrack.
Now, are we going to discuss the soundtrack in depth, or
We good. What do you got?
I've got a
Some of the
tasty
soundtrack?
tidbit.
Okay, let's hear it. What's
You
your
know
tasty
who
tidbit?
wrote Gangster's Paradise?
Well, okay, so that must mean it wasn't Coolio.
It was not Coolio.
Who was it?
One Mr. Stevie Wonder.
Stevie
Is it
Wonder.
really?
Stevie Wonder wrote
Gangster's
Gangster's Paradise.
Is this fact?
Wow.
IMDb.
Did he write it, or
He
did
wrote
Coolio
it.
use a sample?
He wrote.
Did
Well,
he take a sample and use it for
We may have
Gangster's
to
Paradise?
fact check
let's
this.
fact check.
Fact
You
this.
guys are learn real
We may have
quick.
to
You
put a
gotta
fact-
fact check
Well,
most of the
43
cases.
seasons of this, we
Yeah.
have to put a fact checker
Now,
on
while you're
the
fact checking, do you remember any other Coolio songs besides Gangster's Paradise?
Yeah.
The
Fantastic
Voyage.
Voyage.
Fantastic
Yeah.
Voyage. Any others? I got one more Coolio song.
No.
The one he goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
Get your woman
on the
floor.
That's it. 3 Coolio songs. That's all I
Okay,
got.
back to Dangerous Minds.
Okay,
Okay.
Dangerous Minds, 1995. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Composers. Oh, hold on. Keep going.
Okay, if we're talking about the soundtrack while Casey fact checks his own
Great
facts.
soundtrack.
You know when they go to, she takes him to the amusement park, which
Yes.
I've got more to talk about with that.
Yes.
That song that they sing, you should watch it. It was the Respect song.
Okay.
I loved that song in middle school. Like, I think my friends and I played it like a million times.
How's it
You
go?
had to
Sing a little bit of it.
Well, I can't think of it how it goes right now, but it's the real good one with the girls singing and, you know.
It's a sample of Steve.
It was a sample of a Stevie
Yeah.
Wonder song, so there you go.
This
Yeah,
is
it was-
Casey, meet
yeah.
Casey.
It was a little street for
That-
it was a little street
Too
for
street for
Stevie
him.
Wonder.
That seems like me.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, it had Coolio, it had Immature, it had Craig.
It was a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah.
It had Craig Mack and Missy
Oh, yeah.
on there. A lot of good people. Wendy and Lisa from Prince fame. Great soundtrack. All right, so soundtracks out of the way, rankings out of the way. What's next?
Can we talk about Emilio?
Emilio.
Is he 40?
That's 40.
Emilio looks 40.
Yes.
Flannel guy, before I knew what his name was again, Flannel guy looks like he's 40.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yes. So,
yeah, he does.
okay. So let's break it down. So you have Michelle Pfeiffer, right, coming into the room, and she's got all of her students there. They all look of age. for the
Most of them
part.
look in high school.
Right?
Yeah,
Some
right.
look a
I
little
think
bit
they did
older.
good with
Yeah,
the
they
casting.
did.
But
Besides
Emilio.
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 Rest in peace, Emilio.
Yeah.
But spoilers, if you haven't seen this movie, you should, because why are you watching this if you haven't seen it?
Well,
you
there-
should watch it. But
Yeah.
R.I.P. Emilio. But he looks like he's 40.
Yeah.
And he is by far the worst part of the movie. Can we all agree?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
He's-
For sure.
Yeah, for the most part, it's very good. Obviously, we all liked it, but Emilio's acting not so hot.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And the rest of them were really good.
All right, so we have Michelle Pfeiffer coming in, Mrs. Johnson, right?
Yeah.
And she
Lou
has
Johnson.
sporting some classic '90s hair,
Oh yes.
looking great.
90s glasses.
But has
as
this
well?
strange, very strange Southern accent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
guys pick up
I
on that?
agree.
It's not real.
It came
Yeah.
in and out.
It's,
It was-
that's
yeah, it was
a
in and out.
Texas Southern accent. That's
It
a,
was a
that's your
made up Southern
standard
accent.
Texas Southern accent.
The accent didn't work.
Faint, but
It was terrible.
it's
But
there.
it would come
It
in
was
very
terrible.
thick.
Yeah,
sometimes.
She was
sometimes.
great.
Yeah.
She was believable.
She's awesome.
Really good actress, but that Southern accent, not having it.
No.
Anything else
Guys,
that you noticed in the
Can we talk about something? Did Dangerous Minds have a sponsorship with every junk food from the
Yeah,
90s?
Doritos.
Butterfingers,
Yeah,
Cheetos,
Butterfingers.
Doritos.
Candy
Yeah.
bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also noticed in terms of '90s things, there was a lot of shoulder pads. Her friend, the other teacher, had the pocket protectors. Mr. Griffith
Yeah.
was his name, right?
A lot of
A
flannel.
lot of bangs.
Yeah, a lot of bangs.
Which I love
and
because
The guy
I
smoking
love the
inside.
big
bangs.
hoop earrings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
chokers.
A lot of dark lipstick. If we are talking about fashion, can we please talk about now, guys? I know we're talking about the things that stood out as weird in this movie, but it was very good, which we'll get to.
It was
Very
good.
Yeah.
But
especially the second half.
can we just talk about how the first day she came in looking like very lost, and she had like her super conservative, and then she's like, you know what? She went home and she's like, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. She came in like just a total bad A, and she had her leather jacket on. She puts her feet up on the table, like,
Changes
you know,
everything.
it's gonna change everything.
Yeah.
A leather jacket.
Yep.
Leather jacket.
I did read though on IMDb that Michelle Pfeiffer was actually pregnant during the filming of this. So
that's right.
she tried to hide her
she needed the
stomach.
Wow.
Yeah, so she needed like the bigger frumpier clothes
A lot of loose
throughout.
fitting clothes. I didn't know this.
That's how you cover up a baby.
Right.
That's
Leather
right. That's
jacket.
right.
Yeah.
Hot tip.
Little well known. So she goes in there and she's talking with the principal. Well, not the principal yet. We meet him a little bit later. Courtney B.
Let's
Vance.
not.
He'll put you to
We'll
sleep.
get to him in a second. You see it a lot with these student movies. The way that a kid will show, or the kids will show dissension to a teacher when they're walking in. What do you guys think it is?
Throwing paper.
They throw paper,
Yes.
but they sit in their desks the wrong way.
Yes.
That's the way to do it.
Yep.
You sit on top
For
of your
sure.
desk, you sit backwards. The way you show it is you don't sit correctly in your desk.
Right.
That's disrespectful.
Disrespectful. It's
Mm-hmm.
disrespectful.
Later, by the way, once they get to know her, of course, everybody's sitting in
Sitting
their
in
desk
the
the right
desk
way.
properly. Yeah.
So that was one thing I noticed. What else you guys got?
So, what my major beef with this movie, which I don't have a lot because I really, really do like this movie. I wasn't sure. I was a little nervous because this one I really was like, I like this movie. I have good memories of this movie. I was nervous if I was going to like this movie, and I really did still enjoy this movie. My major beef watching it now as a grown up that is grown up was how in the heck is she affording all this?
That is a good
question.
That's a good point.
That's a good beat.
Yeah.
So what are the things that she did that seemed weird to afford?
So she took the kids to an amusement park.
Yeah, like
Does
25
Which
kids.
she took them to an amusement. She took them to an amusement
fancy
park.
dinner.
She took them to a
Fancy
fancy
dinner.
dinner, which
Very
is
fancy.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Good.
All that
Most parents
candy?
wouldn't allow it, but
Yeah.
all that candy. But how is she affording that on her teacher salary?
And then giving Raul the $200.
Giving Raul the
too.
$200
Yeah.
for the
For the
jacket.
jacket. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
is she side hustling or what?
She's got the GI Bill. She was a Marine.
Oh, okay.
But
That explains
Guys,
it. Okay.
There you go.
let's talk about the turning point of the movie.
Okay, which is
The
what?
fight between Emilio,
Uh-huh.
Raul,
Raul.
and Guzman.
Yeah. First off, Raul,
Yes.
fantastic.
He is
Yeah,
good.
he was great.
He was my
Too.
favorite.
Love
Really
it.
good.
Yes, I
He
have
was
a
also in
soft
Con
spot.
Air. He was Ramon from Con Air.
Yes.
And he's a very good actor.
But let's talk about the fight scene.
Okay.
What were they fighting about? Second question, did you go to jail for fighting in school? 3,
Okay.
I think they're just going to a detention center.
3, why did Raul and Guzmano go to jail, but Emilio got to hang out at
At
school?
Because he didn't start it.
I said 3 and I
Zero.
got 4 fingers.
He's not the instigator.
Emilio.
What were they fighting
Raul
about?
was-
I think it was just like a money
were fighting-
thing, like side hustling.
I don't know what they were fighting about.
No, they
That's a
didn't
good question.
explain that.
Candy
You
bars.
can't focus on these
Candy
things.
bars.
Yeah.
Candy
no,
bars.
No.
Candy
No, the
bars.
problem is
Candy
she
bars.
came down and she said Emilio was stronger than Raul and his friend. That hurt their pride. They got all in their feelings and they got in a fight.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Okay, last thing that I would like to point out that drove me crazy. Now, I love me some Courtney B. Vance.
Yeah. Courtney
But
B. Vance is great.
why was he
Snooze
fest.
whispering in this
Snooze
movie?
fest. He
You couldn't
he
hear
talked so slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He whispered. You literally.
He was so calm you couldn't hear him.
Miss,
No.
what's her name again?
Miss Johnson.
Miss Johnson. Must
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes.
I'm glad he found his voice
Yeah,
in
from
like
that to-
Preacher's Wife and the O.J. Simpson.
Well, yeah, I like the idea of Ryan Murphy watching that movie. And he's like, you know who I need for my Johnny Cochran? That dude right there.
The guy from Dangerous Minds.
Courtney B. Vance.
He's
Let's get
right.
him.
He's right.
Let's get him. All right, so I think that covers our nitpicks. That covers kind of the what was going on stuff for the most part. Oh yeah.
One more nitpick.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that would not fly now that flew in the 90s. Apparently there was no dress code at this school.
Right.
Half shirts, crop tops,
Yeah.
what have you.
Yeah.
And
Her going to the kids' houses.
Yes.
and letting kids in her house.
A lot of kids.
Yeah, like hiding,
Yeah.
hiding them out at
Yeah.
her house.
Emilio spending the
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what
You
the
can't pull that.
No.
a lot of kids' houses.
No,
You go
To
to
be
jail.
fair,
Definitely not.
to be fair, Emilio had been shaving for at least 10 years.
She would have already been
That's
fired.
true.
Yeah,
For sure.
you'll be
Yeah.
on the main page of Yahoo.
For sure. So,
Yahoo.
So-
Are we still in the 90s?
so I
Alta
thought
Vista.
I thought there was a lot to kind of to kind of nitpick in the first half of the movie, but I thought the second half of the movie was really
Yeah.
good. I thought it was really
Sounds good.
touching.
Yeah.
And I thought she comes out, Michelle Pfeiffer, and she does this. She does this. No one here is a victim speech, right? In
Which I
front of the
thought
whole
was
class.
really good.
And I was like, this is going to be super cheesy. It's going to be awkward to talk about it because it's supposed to be very heartfelt. I thought it was really heartfelt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. And I thought from then on, there was a bunch of good stuff. So what did you guys notice that was really good about this movie?
Love the five.
Yeah.
Got a lot of 5.
I love how she used poetry to try to relate to the kids too.
Yep.
Because she knew that they all grew up in really, rough households and rough neighborhoods. So I think that instilled a lot of confidence in the kids throughout the movie as well.
Yeah, I thought the whole Dylan thing was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
was.
so she's relating Bob Dylan and Dylan Thomas, and Bob Dylan famously took his name as a tribute to Dylan Thomas, or at least inspired by. And so that leads to this great scene where they're all in the library together.
Oh, which I
Right,
love.
guys?
Yeah, that was
That's the best part
awesome.
of it.
Yeah,
And so the
that was
librarians
great.
are looking at these kids like, what are these guys doing here? And they're kind of joking around. The kids are having fun with each other. And Callie, right, the smartest girl, finds the "Don't go gently into that still night" poem. So I thought that part worked really well.
Yeah.
That was a good part.
Yeah,
Good
it
stuff.
was.
And I just love, I love a story about where if somebody invests in, overlooked people. I love that in real life. I love that in, it is a true story, but I love that in movies. I love that in real life. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Who doesn't love that?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they did a really good job with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without making it too preachy, without making it too cheesy.
Yeah.
It was just, it was sad. Emilio died, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I think the point with that
it came
is
out in 95.
what's cool about that is that there were real stakes in this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So she walks in to Courtney B. Vance's, to the principal's office, right? And she does this thing of so if you don't want to die, remember to knock. Because the principal got mad at Emilio
Yeah.
for walking in without knocking.
And he was going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And in a lot of movies, it doesn't have that big of consequences, but there's
Right.
real consequences to this one. Emilio does die, right? We see the brothers, where she goes to the house of the 2 brothers, with the grandma who says, I don't want to go to school because I don't want to learn from you, and all the hateful things that she says to
Mean
her.
grandma.
Me, grandma. They don't come back to school.
Yeah.
So there's real takes. We see Callie's mom, played by Lorraine Toussaint. Is that how you pronounce it?
Who?
V from Orange is the New
Orange is
Black.
the New Black.
Oh.
She's
okay.
fantastic. She's
She
awesome
is. She's awesome.
as Callie's mom. So there's
Yeah,
real
she's
stakes,
great.
and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
What else is good?
As much as I didn't like Emilio, I did think the moment where he kind of turned the class's attitude towards the teacher around.
Yes.
They were all real down on her, and Emilio partook in class, and it was a touching moment.
As Callie said, you
I know.
gotta get Emilio.
Well,
Yeah.
because earlier Emilio's whole problem apparently is that the class is starting to learn. Right? When they start to turn and like her a little bit, he's sitting in the back this is
Also-
learning stuff. Stop it.
Also,
He's
for
back.
these ruffian kids,
Uh-huh.
they have fantastic attendance.
Yeah.
They were all there every day.
Every
That's a great
day.
point.
Yeah.
I think they had better attendance than I did.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people
Mom's
have better
like shaking
attendance.
her head. She's
A lot of
like,
people have
"Yes."
better attendance than I do at school. I also like the scene where the students are talking her back into staying.
Yeah.
So you get some really cool moments there.
Yeah.
You have Raul who works.
He's the best.
Callie is into it, and you have that dancing guy.
That guy's
Right?
the
He's
best part of the
awesome.
movie.
Yeah, he was
Super tall guy,
amazing.
ball cap. If you watch the movie,
And he starts doing his thing.
just like
Oh
that.
yeah,
It's
it
exactly how
was
it
like
looked.
something like this. I don't know.
Hula dancer.
But he
So
had
he
some
looked really
moves. Yeah.
And he did come up and he gave her the proverbial candy bar.
Yeah.
Right. Which is what she did to get them inspired in the first place. So it all comes full circle.
Yeah, full circle.
It's good. Good ending.
Good ending.
Yeah, and I feel like these days, you know how they all hung out, they played basketball, they jumped
Double
rope,
dutch.
double
A lot of double
dutch.
dutch.
Yeah,
Lot of
I
double dutch.
loved how they all just hung out in front of
Yeah.
school. So I feel like these days they don't do that anymore. You know?
We should bring it back.
We should.
Literally do some double dutch.
These days, let's wait. Guys. These days they don't do what exactly?
They don't
Double
like
dutch.
double dutch. You
They
know,
don't
hang
do
out. They
double
don't
dutch.
Nobody
dance.
double
They don't
dutches
dance
anymore.
in front of school anymore.
How do you know?
What school did you go to?
I mean, when I was in high school, we didn't do
Double dutching and dancing. Like
I just want to
nobody.
point out they didn't do that when I was in school.
Bella, did you guys double dutch?
What?
Do you double dutch?
No.
Did you go to a movie school? Did they have
Double
gangsters
Dutch
Did
paradise?
you
Right.
go to this school?
And you're out there doing your
You
hula
have
hoops?
seen Gangster's Paradise.
With
You
everybody?
run Gangster's Paradise.
I lived it.
I don't think they did it back then.
No,
But okay.
probably not.
But that's fair. So yeah, and I loved anytime Gangster's Paradise came on. They're like, we got this song from Coolio. We're gonna play it over and
Yeah.
over and over throughout the movie. You know what?
Yeah,
It worked every time.
Yeah,
it did. Yeah,
It worked.
They
every
they didn't
time.
overdo it.
All right. So in general, I would say that I went in thinking that it was going to be way cheesier than it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was half expecting to not like it and to
Yeah.
have some sort of awkward conversation. In the beginning, it's funny. There's a lot of cliche '90s stuff,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of cliche movie tropes. But by the end of the movie, it's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
right. It is.
I liked it.
Let's
I did too.
recap those scores.
All right, so I almost want to move to a 4, but I'm sticking with 3.5 out of 5. Psalm 23:4s. Go get your Bible and read it if you don't know the verse.
You know what? You guys have convinced me. I'm moving
Bumping
up.
up.
Bumping up.
I'm moving up. 4 leather jackets.
Okay, I'm still sticking with my 4.5.
4.5.
Emilio leather
It's
jackets.
gonna be tough to beat.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
bump my score up to 3.5.
Oh,
Smoking
moving
teachers
up.
in a classroom.
Smoking teacher.
He was smoking
He was
and
smoking
grading
pot.
papers
He
in the classroom.
That guy in general is hilarious.
He's the
Yeah,
best.
he did. He did. He
Yeah.
like-
did.
The kids are like fighting in the classroom. He's standing outside just laughing at one point.
She's teaching them
Michelle-
karate.
Michelle Pfeiffer, who I also read, they had a love connection that she was supposed to have with Raul Wait, what's the guy's name from Ocean's 13? Ocean's 11. What's that actor's name?
George Clooney.
No, the bad guy.
Oh, Anthony Garcia.
Oh.
Andy Garcia.
With she had a love connection that was supposed to have with Andy
He wasn't
Garcia.
even in the movie.
I know, it was cut. Is my point. But
I'm glad.
she has a conversation with smoking teacher of like, your wife is so lucky she has you.
Oh,
Yeah.
And he's just like the best thing ever. This guy.
he is awesome.
He's a nice guy.
Even though
Yeah.
you can't get up
he
the stairs,
was.
it's fine.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
cracked me
yeah.
up.
Oh, also, he was smoking, but he's also hacking up a lung the entire movie.
The whole movie. I thought he was gonna
It didn't
die.
pay off.
I was worried. He was
No,
hacking
you just smoke
along.
because you smoke.
And
I know,
he
so
had
we could tell
no
the story.
regard for the school's rules.
He didn't care.
was smoking in the classroom.
Yeah.
Then the first day when they got there, he was
Yeah.
smoking walking to the school.
Yeah.
And he put the cigarette out in the school.
Yeah.
But they didn't want her to teach karate.
And he wasn't in the second half of the movie, right? I mean, he basically
That's-
disappeared.
yeah.
There was
Not
whispering Courtney D. Vance then.
Not existent at all.
Until the end scene, and he had those great jean rolls going on.
He did, he had some awesome jean
some
rolls,
awesome
yeah.
jean rolls.
Jean rolls
Yeah.
and cowboy boots with
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer going down the hallway.
Yep.
Absolutely. So there you go.
So-
Overall,
Have them tell us what they think.
I'm supposed to have you tell us what you think. Right down below what you think. This is our first one of 43 seasons. So although we have,
I thought it was 46.
was that 46?
I think it's 46.
Yeah, I think it's 46.
Yeah, we got signed up
Yeah.
for another 3 seasons
Good.
while we were doing
Just
it.
now.
Good.
Yeah, just now.
So we have a lot of movies planned, but if you have any other movies that you would like us to review, preferably in the 90s, but somewhere around that type of frames that you want to know if it held up, write it down below. Let us know.
Because we have 46 seasons.
This smells like 90s movies. And what do 90s movies smell like? The inside of the Max.
There you go.
There you
have
go.
it. That's it. It's a wrap.
Now, Mom, we just finished that whole recording. You were sitting right there listening to this. What did you just ask us?
What movie was this? I was gonna ask you, was Michelle Pfeiffer at the end on a piano?
What? What movie's that?
I don't know, you guys
thinking
will
of?
have to look that up.
IMDb's not even going to be able to help us out. with that
Michelle
one.
Pfeiffer
It was
on a
Michelle
piano.
Pfeiffer. She was the teacher, and she taught at a rough school full of rough kids. Don't you remember this movie?
I'd have to see it to see if it brings back a memory or not.
Well, Kelsey's going to pop on a leather jacket.
Cindy, do you
You'll
remember it?
Meet our mom.
How much notes you got, Kelsey?
I got 4 pages.
4 pages of notes.
She writes bigger than anybody
I do.
I've ever met, though.
4 pages of notes on Dangerous Minds.
That's right. I'm serious about this.
No, you're running the pace. Do you not want to run the pace?
All right, the pacer. Did you guys do the pacer in your grade school where you run back and forth and they have like?
Oh
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
She says she doesn't remember.
I don't. We
Yeah.
did that.
We did.
We did the pacer. I got
did the pacer.
I got second place. So.
Mom
I
always
did.
wrote me
I was
notes
a
for
hefty
PE.
child.
Right, Mom? You wrote
Okay.
me notes for
Hefty
PE?
child.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Can't say that on YouTube.
He was,
can ya?